Cleanliness is a way to prevent, and prevention is the beginning of cure. So here we are with a topic under microbiology, sterilization and disinfection. Welcome to AHS Guide, your trusted companion for mastering the 5 core subjects of first year Allied Health Sciences as per Rajiv Gandhi University. Here we make complex concepts simple, clear and exam ready, helping you learn smarter, remember longer and build a strong medical foundation. In today's lecture, we'll begin our study on the sterilization and disinfection, which forms the backbone of infection control in medicine and laboratory practices. In the previous video, we have already covered the first topic of few definitions from the microbiology. We have also covered the methods of sterilization, under which the physical method, which involved the sunlight, which is a UV radiation, a natural form of sterilization, and we have covered the various other methods like red hot and flaming, incineration as well. So all those topics that are covered in the previous video will be put into the description. You can check the video and come back here for the second part of it. So in this video, we'll be studying the introduction, the various other topics under the methods of sterilization. So the physical method of sterilization, wherein we are going to see at which different temperatures, that is below 100 degrees Celsius, at 100 degrees Celsius and above 100 degrees Celsius, as well as we'll be seeing about the various chemical agents that are used, the high level, low and the intermediate level disinfections that are used in laboratory practices for the disinfection. Without any further ado, we'll dive into the topic. So by the end of this session, you'll be able to understand what are the basic methods that are used in physical sterilization or removal of the vegetative forms of bacteria as well as spores, and in chemical method to remove the vegetative forms. So the methods of sterilization, like I told in the previous video, we have covered about sunlight, under heat, under dry heat we have covered the UV red heat, flaming incinerations, as well as hot air oven, the temperature that is used in dry heat or the hot air oven. The principle of it is also covered in the previous video. In today's video, we'll be studying about moist heat, ozone, filtration, radiation. About chemical methods, a small introduction will also be dealt in this video. In the next video, we'll be seeing about the different types of chemical methods that are used for sterilization or disinfecting a laboratory or a clinical setup. Like I told, we are starting with moist heat sterilization in this video. So this sterilization involves the use of water as a medium to create a sterilization effect. So here, using the water, you are going to change the temperature at different temperature ranges. How is the sterilization conducted? So we are going to see the below 100 degrees Celsius how the sterilization is done, at 100 degrees Celsius how it is done, and above 100 degrees Celsius which is under pressure. Below 100 degrees Celsius, we can do the pasteurization as one method of removal of any infecting bacteria or microorganisms present inside the milk. So pasteurization is simply boiling the milk. So this pasteurization involves two different methods. One is Holder method and the other one is flash method. So the Holder method involves at 63 degrees Celsius, you are going to keep boiling the milk for 30 minutes. So there is a constant temperature of 63 degrees Celsius for around 30 minutes, and till the 30 minutes, whatever microbes that is present inside the milk is going to be boiled. So the next method that can be observed is the flash method, wherein at 72 degrees Celsius, for 20 seconds, it is boiled. After giving a 72 degrees Celsius, you are going to rapidly cool it and make it less than 13 degrees Celsius. So this change of temperature is going to cause the desiccation of the cell membrane of a microorganism. This is also a process of killing a bacteria by exposing it to a higher temperature and immediately cooling the temperature so that the microorganism cannot survive the change in temperature. So that is one method. One is Holder method and the other one is flash method. Now, what all organisms are killed in pasteurization processes? There are non-sporing pathogens. that is the ones which cannot form spores like Mycobacterium, Brucella and Salmonella. So these don't produce spores. The spores which are going to be an unfavorable condition, the microorganisms form a tough covering around them and reproduce inside the tough covering, forming spores, and they break down the spores once the perfect environment is there for propagation of the pathogens. But here in pasteurization, non-sporing pathogens are the main focus to remove and delete or sterilize the milk. Now, the exception that can be seen is Coxella brunette, which is present in the milk. These are very highly heat resistant and may survive in spite of doing the Holder method. So, the 63 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes is no use to kill the Coxella brunette. This is a type of microorganism. Now, here is an image of how the different methods is done. Below, we have given a flash pasteurization process where you preheat for 20 seconds, hold, and then rapidly cool it. Once you cool it, you're going to package the milk and send it for the use. Now here above image is a Holder method. You can see at 75 degrees Celsius you have kept the milk bottles inside the boiling water and it is boiled for 30 minutes. So that covers the pasteurization of milk. The second type of moist heat below 100 degrees Celsius. Here is a serum or egg-based media, which is Lowenstein ginseng or Loeffler's serum medium, which is used as a culture media to grow the microorganisms in it, a specific type of microorganism. So this media is sterilized before using because to avoid other microorganisms. So Lowenstein ginseng and Loeffler's serum medium are the culture mediums that is used for growing a specific type of microorganism, and it does not allow other microorganisms to grow. So in order to keep them sterilized and free of any other microorganisms, they do the inception. Here under inception, it is heated, the medium is heated at 80 to 85 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes, and it is done daily for 3 consecutive days. So 3 days continuously the process is going to take place, and the instrument that is used for doing inception is called inspector. I have the image in the next slide. We'll be studying what it is first and then see the image. Now the third type of method of doing below 100 degrees Celsius sterilization is vaccine bath. Here the bacterial vaccines are sterilized at 60 degrees Celsius for 1 hour, and the serum or the blood fluids can also be sterilized by this method. So you heat them for 56 degrees Celsius for an hour and several successive days until the bacteria it is free of microorganisms. So bacterial vaccines that are being given to the patients is first sterilized before actually inducing it into the patient. So serum and bodily fluids that are used for transferring to the patient as well is done the same way. Now low temperature steam formaldehyde is a type of a machine or a sterilizer wherein a low temperature of formaldehyde steam is produced, and the materials or the things that are used in the laboratories are going to be sterilized. Now what are the items that are used are supposed to have the tolerance of below 100 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Celsius. In case the temperature is not being held by the material, there are chances of cracking or melting of the items that are used for sterilization. So glass material that is there, it should tolerate about 100 degrees Celsius. So this method involves a steam of 75 degrees Celsius, and at a reduced pressure, a formaldehyde vapor is given. So there is a reduced pressure, 75 degrees Celsius, and formaldehyde vapor. Now the control organism that is used here to check whether the sterilization has happened, the Bacillus stereothermophilus spores are added to test the efficacy of the machine that is working, the sterilizer that is used. So this Bacillus stereothermophilus is said to be a microorganism that has the ability to grow in higher temperature as well. So these Bacillus stereothermophilus at certain temperature the spores can die. So these spores are used as a method to test whether the sterilization has happened correctly or not. Here is the image of different things. Here we have the first image, which is Lowenstein Jansen medium. This is a medium, culture media, that is used to grow microorganisms. This one. Yeah. Now then we have the vaccine bath, wherein you can sterilize the vaccine or the blood or the serum, bodily fluids. Now this one is the low temperature sterilizer for the steam sterilizer with the formaldehyde vapor. Now moving to the second type of moist heat sterilization, which is at 100 degrees Celsius. So you're going to keep the temperature at 100 degrees Celsius and check whether the sterilization is happened, or you can perform a sterilization at 100 degrees Celsius, not above or below. It's at 100 degrees Celsius. So boiling is one such method that is incorporated to do sterilization. So when the water starts boiling, you see the bubbles, right? So those bubbles indicate that the water is at 100 degrees Celsius. Now this boiling involves about 10 to 30 minutes to be done in order to kill most of the vegetative bacteria. But the only disadvantage here is that the spores will survive. They cannot be killed completely, and this method is not reliable. So this boiling method can be used in various other methods, like for glass syringes, rubber stoppers. You can't use them because they will melt up. So the other materials can be used, can be done with the surgical equipments as well, can be used for removal of the vegetative form, but not completely sterilize it. So this method is not meant for the surgical instruments. It is meant only for the ones like the inoculums that are used, which does not cause any invasion into the body fluids. Now, tyndallization is an intermittent sterilization. It is called intermittent because you are going to create the sterilization field with certain gaps. So how is this tyndallization going to work? Here, the steam is at 100 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes on 3 consecutive days. So the principle here is that on day 1, you're going to produce 100 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes and kill all the vegetative forms of bacteria. So once the vegetative form is killed, you give a certain space for the spores to germinate. Once the spores germinate and form a new vegetative form of microorganism, you again start subsequent heating. So when you do the subsequent heating, all the new vegetative forms will be killed. So this is a method that is used for intermittent sterilization. You kill the vegetative forms, allow the spores to germinate, and finally again kill the vegetative forms that have been germinated by the spores. Now the use of this tyndallization method is done for the egg, serum, sugar coating media, because now the instrument that is used here is Scott's and Arnold steam sterilization. Now the steam sterilizer is also used at 100 degrees Celsius for 90 minutes. Again, here also Koch and Arnold steam sterilizer is used. The articles are placed at the perforated trays that you can see here in the image, one below the other. The hold plates over there. So these have the steam penetrating through these perforated tray at atmospheric temperature pressure for 90 minutes. Once the steam is inside, the vegetative forms are going to be killed, except for thermophilus, because stereothermophilus thermophiles can survive in high at 100 degrees Celsius, above which they are going to be able to survive. Now above 100 degrees Celsius is the third type of moist heat sterilization. Here under pressure, the articles are sterilized, or the materials are sterilized. So the principle here is that the boiling point of water increases when the pressure increases. At a normal pressure, the water boils at 100 degrees Celsius in a closed vessel with an increased pressure, or and the boiling temperature rises. This principle is applied in autoclave or pressure cookers. This process kills all the microorganisms or spores. So the standard condition for a sterilization above 100 degrees Celsius is that, as in case of autoclave, it's 121 degrees Celsius at 15 psi pressure for 15 to 20 minutes. So that is how the sterilization is conducted. So the water is boiled. Once the water boils, there is increased pressure and conversion of water into steam. So this steam travels through the autoclave, creates a pressure, and at this pressure the steam travels through the articles and kills all the microorganisms or spores that is present on them, and the steam is going to sterilize the materials. So the standard condition is also given. So this covers the above 100 degrees Celsius. We'll be studying about autoclave in another video because it's complex. It involves a detailed understanding. So we'll be moving to the next one, which is chemical methods of sterilization or disinfection. So a variety of chemical agents are used for antiseptics and disinfectants. We have all known that during corona we were continuously using antiseptics and disinfectants to clean the surfaces or the surroundings in order to avoid the infection or the contracting of the coronavirus. So chemical methods was commonly understood by the layman person also. The need of the alcohol as a sanitizer was being used by each and every person. The importance of chemical methods was understood during the corona COVID period. Now here the ideal properties of an antiseptic or a disinfectant that should be used. So these are the important properties that antiseptic and disinfectant that is adopted or being used in the laboratories should have. Now have a wide spectrum of activity. So these should have a effect on the against the bacteria which is vegetative or spore. It should act on viruses and fungi and protozoa as well. So that refers to the wide spectrum of activity, meaning it should attack on all types of microorganisms that is present on the surfaces. Now act when even in the presence of organic matter. So if in case there is a presence of organic matter or in the material, for example, if a surgical instrument consists of organic matter, it shouldn't lift the organic matter like that. It should act on the organic matter and kill the possible effects that the organic matter can cause. Possess high penetration power and act quickly. So these chemicals should have the high penetration power, meaning it should go into the article or the instrument that is being used and remove the all possible infection that is present on them. Be stable and effective in acidic as well as alkaline conditions. So be stable and effective in acidic as well as alkaline condition, meaning these chemicals should not change their nature of being in either acidic or alkaline condition. If there is acidic or alkaline surfaces, then the chemical should act according to it and should not change its effect. Not corrode metals. It should not burn down the metals or deform the metals. Be compatible with other disinfectants. So if you are doing the first layer of alcohol and the next layer of glyceraldehyde or the iodophores, it should the chemicals that are acting with each other should not cause any other problems. So it should be compatible to each other, cause no local irritation. So when you were using sanitizers, were there any kinds of irritations? Then those were not the true forms of chemical sterilizing disinfectants. So this chemicals should not cause any local irritation to the person that is using. Be non-toxic, so it should not be toxic or poisonous to the system, or if in case it is absorbed in the system. Be safe and easy to use and easily available, inexpensive. So sanitizers was safe, easy to use, easily available as well, and it was little inexpensive as well. So the factors that are affecting the potency of disinfectants. So sometimes the concentration of chemical can also be defective. If in case the concentration is high, it can cause toxic environment, and the disinfectants may cause respiratory problems. If the concentration is low, then it is ineffective and not causing the disinfecting effect. And the time of action also depends. So how how much time you are exposing the chemical agent to the surface will also depend. So when it is exposed to the correct standard time, then the sterilization or disinfection has happened. pH of the medium also depends. So if it is either acidic or basic, the level of the medium is going to determine the effect of disinfection. The temperature also determines the potency or the action of disinfectant. Nature of microorganisms, if in case it's a vegetative form or a spore forming form, is it having a capsule that on the enveloped or non-enveloped viruses, fungi. So these nature of microorganisms will also be dependent upon the action of disinfectant that is going to kill them. The presence of organic matter, in case there is any presence of pus, blood or feces in the region of disinfection, that can also reduce the strength of the disinfecting power. So the classification of disinfectants. So disinfectants can be classified into three major types, such as high level disinfection, intermediate level disinfection, and lower level disinfection. As the name says, high level is going to have more effect, and as the definition says, effectiveness is almost equal to sterilization, but not as sterilization, because they can kill the vegetative forms and cannot kill the spores. So these are used for delicate instruments that cannot withstand autoclaving. So certain instruments that go inside the human and cannot hold on the high temperature of 121 degrees Celsius, as in case of autoclaving, these high level disinfectants are done for the endoscopes, which are which are done for laparoscopic surgeries. So these endoscopes are used as a keyhole port for the surgeries. Certain cameras are going to be inserted inside the patient to check the mucous membranes or the gastrointestinal tract. The cystoscopes are used for the genitalia regions to be checked, the urethras, the functioning of the urethra. The plastic surgical instruments can also not be autoclaved, so these can be disinfected with high level disinfectants. Some examples of high level disinfectants are glyceraldehyde 2% per acetic acid, hydrogen peroxide, which is at high concentration, and chlorine compounds as well. So these are the different examples of high level disinfectants which are used to sterilize, which are equal to sterilization but not exactly sterilization. So as I told, some of them, some examples are also given for the high level disinfectants. Intermediate level disinfectants, these do not kill spores and are reliable. These are used for instruments which are not in contact to the sterile body sites, which is invasive or touching the blood spaces or mucous membranes. Here the spores are unlikely, but some examples of the intermediate level disinfectants are alcohol or ethanol isopropyl, iodophores, which is iodine compounds, povidone iodine, which is used copper colored liquid that was used, that you see in sterilization, phenolic compounds like cresols and hexachlorophene. These intermediate level disinfectants are used to clear the laryngoscopes, fiber optic endoscopes. So these are going to touch the mucous membranes but are not going to invade the blood system. So this is intermediate level disinfectants, cannot kill the spores completely, but they very few spores are going to be left when you use this disinfectants. Now the lower level disinfectants are the ones which microorganisms survive in spite of exposure, but the limited efficacy is the major disadvantages of low level disinfectants. These are used for non-critical items that contact the intact skin but not the sterile tissues. Some examples of the low level disinfectants are quaternary ammonium compounds, dilute alcohols that we use in sanitizers. So these can be used, these low level disinfectants can be used on stethoscopes, sphygmomanometer, which is used for measurement of blood pressure, ECG electrodes that is used to measure the ECG, the electrocardiogram. So we have covered all the topics under the moist heat sterilization above, below, and at 100 degrees Celsius. We have also covered the various properties of chemical agents of disinfection. We have also seen the classification of disinfectants, which are high level, intermediate level, and low level disinfectants. The next video will be about autoclave. So in detail understanding of how autoclave works, as well as the chemical agents that are various types of chemical agents that are used in the daily life of a laboratory practice or a clinical practice, the routine disinfection and sterilization that is conducted there. So if you have any doubts, post it in the comments. The notes for this video will be provided in another next video, and the playlist of it will also be created as well. So the revision part of all these topics will be done on Saturdays and Sundays. I'll be uploading in future. So till then, keep watching AHS Guide. Thank you.